I've got to introduce this wonderful lady. Honestly, I've been reading a book for the past week and I can't put it down. It's called Woman Up, if you can see it there. I just have big kudos for people who write books. I would love to write them myself, but I'm not that dedicated. She's been an assertive coach for, gosh, I think about 15 years. We'll have to check that with her. In fact, let's bring her in right now. Welcome to Live in the Hive, Jodie Salt.
Good evening. Hello, Michelle.
Hey.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, do you know what? I'm really thrilled to have you because, as I say, I've had your book, reading it all week. It's been by my bedside and it'll pretty much stay there for, gosh, the next few years because it's pretty much a Bible for empowering women. And I would say there's a bit in it for men as well.
Of course, but boom, results. That's exactly what I wanted it to do. So big thumbs up from me.
So how did this come about? Because I just said, you've been an assertiveness coach for, is it about 15 years? You've been helping businesses, doing personal things with men, women, organizations.
Yeah, so started out in kind of leadership development in a corporate world as an executive coach for many of those years. More recently, the last kind of 3, 4, 5, really niching down to be spending time coaching women, specifically in assertiveness. I think Michelle's fallen out of the show, but she did ask me a question, so I'm going to carry on.
I'm still here. I was putting the focus on you.
I thought you'd left me, but I thought, that's all right, I can fill in while she's not here. Thank you.
Do you know what? I ain't going nowhere. But no, tell us about it then. So you did that for so many years, and then what kind of made you make the change, and I suppose put pen to paper?
Okay, so from being a little girl, I always wanted to write a book, but I never believed that people like me wrote books. That's the number one thing, the most important thing. What made me kind of change over? Well, you know what? Sometimes the corporate rat race isn't for everybody. I knew I wanted to kind of freestyle it in the world and move away from corporate life. Why is it assertiveness? Well, because kind of had my own brush with it in a personal experience when I was working in quite a mid to senior level role, and I was at the raw end of quite aggressive, could call it almost bullying behaviour to an extent that I was finding really, really tough. And so I decided, right, that is it. It was either throw the towel in and leave like every other person in the job role before me had done, or I take myself off to London, I pay £2,000 and I go on an assertiveness course. Obviously, I chose the latter. And I came back feeling liberated, absolutely liberated, with really practical techniques that just worked like that. So I was sold. I was just obsessed by that point. I thought, this is it. I had a passion then for coaching women because it was bigger than the boardroom, and they really struggled with assertiveness too. So it was just a marriage made in heaven.
And I do think it's hard sometimes to reach out. I think, a lot of people may kind of have the idea that assertiveness coaches, life coaches, people like that, one, you've got to have a shed load of money to put to them, or two, it's like, well, I can't, it's just little me. I'm not an MD. It's like, it'd be silly for me to have it. But actually, I think it's the tools, isn't it? Just to kind of get that extra bit of confidence or reach that mountain that you can't really seem to climb.
Yeah, I think the thing that's really overlooked by lots of people in the main, and it is the people in the main that make the difference in this world, in the business, in society, so it's about skills. And I don't think everybody can see that, is that if you manage to really, harness a key few skills, well, you can set the world on fire. And one of the big messages with the book is, please know, women, that assertiveness is just a skill. That means anybody can learn it. Most women who come to me will say, but I'm just not like that. It's not in my nature. It's not part of my personality. And I say, you don't have to believe that any longer. It is a skill, so that means you can learn it.
And I also think what your book does is it kind of changes it and turns it around, because with assertiveness, some people think, oh, she's going to be aggressive. I can't be aggressive. You know, I'm not going to I've got red lipstick on tonight, Jodes. But, you know, you get that image of red lipstick, you know, harsh hair, and just going to be, oh, a bit of a ball breaker. Yeah.
Sky high toes.
Yeah, but how it happens in your book is you've got these, and I think they're really good chapters because they're quite short and bite-sized, but it takes you through different things. So you've got emotion, you've got identity, you've got communication. So I suppose you don't really have to read it chronologically, do you?
No, you can dip in and out of it as much as you like. I mean, if you feel like your life's on the floor, then absolutely, it is structured in a way that if you work through it progressively, it'd build up nicely for you. But yes, for most women, you know what? They just need to dip their toe in a few little areas, brush up on a few different things, and life's peachy again. So yeah, you're absolutely on the money there, that you can just dip in and out of it wherever you like.
So why Woman Up? What's behind that? Because you hear Woman Up and I reckon people would think of Man Up.
Yeah, I get a bit of stick for it at first sometimes. Do you know what? It's the natural assumption that people make. But I think, you know, one thing the book points out is making assumptions is a little bit dangerous. No guessing. We don't do guessing. We do finding out the real answer to things. So I love it actually when people take the time to say, well, hang on a minute, what is this Woman Up all about? And you're right, I'm most certainly not about to do the female version of how most people perceive Man Up to be. You know, that's been detrimental to so many men's mental health, probably a bunch of women's mental health as well over the years. So I am most certainly not about to replicate that on, you know, a whole bunch of women that might read this book. So Woman Up is about giving women the tools, the resources, the empowerment to rise, to elevate themselves. And, you know, as I'm sure you can tell, I am passionate about equality, you know, a bit of a modern day feminist. You know, the gender agenda, you need your teeth in for that, don't you? The gender agenda is a big one for me. And so this is about, you know what, marches, petitions, demonstrations, I'm all for, but they only go so far. For me, society and culture only changes when individual people decide to do something different. So Woman Up is about the women who are able, so women like me, like you, everyday women living everyday lives. The power's in our hands to make small changes that make a big difference to our own lives, but actually they change the course of society for the women who can't. You know, so
I think it's brilliant. And I also think that what there's a lot of is a rawness in your book. We get to know you and you open up, you know, massively about your own experiences, because I think as a woman that makes you feel, oh God, you know, this woman's been through maybe what I've been through, and she's not got, you know, the perfect life. You swear, Jodes, you swear.
A lot, I know. I've already had some family members be like, your book's great, and it's, you know, I like your frank, open approach. You say the F word a bit too much for me, though, Jodie. So I've been wrapped by a few family members, but hey ho, you know.
No, we kind of laugh along with you, and you're a mum of 3, you know, hats off to you. You've got a gorgeous family. There they are.
They are, look at them. The little woman's a bit younger.
What do your girls think of mum doing a book like this, which is, you know, essentially, you know, trying to empower, liberate, educate, entertain women?
Sure, it's different for all 3 of them, I think. The youngest, you know, she's interested. She has quite a few questions. You know, when she found out that, you know, I've got an Amazon #1 bestseller, she was kind of like, Mom, what? And I think that's when the penny dropped for her. So she finds it all a bit shocking and surprising. My middle daughter, you know, really connects with it quite well. We talk a lot about it and she's really into it. Whereas the older one, you know what, she'll get on with her own life and wouldn't bat an eyelid at what's going on some days. But she's 18 and just out the door living her own life now. So
too cool for school. That's what they are. When they get a bit older.
She's at a Sam Fender gig tonight. So
who's that?
Who's that?
I know.
Don't ask me.
I know. Take that and Bros. You know, a little bit more my era. Do you know?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to take you back to being young. You know, like your children there, and this is the photo that pretty much changed your own life, isn't it? Tell us a bit about this photo.
Yeah, so this is my favourite photo of me of all time. So when we talk about identity in the book, this is the picture that I feel represents the real me, right? That's who I am. That picture embodies that. I think you look at that photo and you're like, she's careless, she's joyful, she's, you know, got no cares in the world, she's invincible, nothing can stop her, the world's at her feet, you know, she's got you know, an imagination full of dreams. And, you know, as I've grown older, society kind of bashed a little bit of that out of me. And so that's the version of me that I aim to reconnect with when I need it most. You know, like you said, I'm a normal northern woman. I have a fair amount of rubbish go on in my own life from time to time. So there are times when that's the photograph that I look into the eyes of and kind of be like, right, what would you do right now? And
we do lose ourselves, I think, when we grow older, because, you know, you've got responsibilities. You know, most of us have got children, we become wives, and the identity and then who you used to be, it just drifts away from you. And it's quite nice to have that moment to reconnect. And I think that's a good idea for a lot of us to do. Perhaps, you know, recall the old photograph and just kind of go, what did she want to do? You know, am I doing that? And actually, there's still time.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had loads of people already send me their versions and said, right, I'll put this on the fridge door. So whenever I'm having a wobble or I don't know what to do or I lose myself, I'm just going to go to the fridge and instead of eating some cheese out of it, I'm just going to ask that picture what she thinks I should do. And you're right, you know, we play so many roles in life and we spin so many plates. I talk about in the book about wearing badges. You know, what's the job, what's the name, the job title on the badge? Is it mum? Is it wife? Is it partner? Is it cleaner? You know, is it carer? Yeah. How often has my badge got the name Jodie on it or Michelle on it, where I'm, you know, living as me, as the person I was intended to be? And you wake up one day and women will say to me, I look in the mirror and I just don't recognise the person staring back at me. And that's one of the key kind of signs that says this book's for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree in so many ways. And I've took, as I say, a lot from your book already. One of the things that I really want to kill you for, though, is I cannot get Miley Cyrus's The Climb out of my head. Explain this song and the relevance to the book, Jodes.
Okay, right. So yes, it features in the book very randomly. It's a song that I just cannot listen to without being in floods of tears. It's one of them that makes me go, you know, you really can't catch your breath. And so yeah, it's the lyrics. It's the lyrics. You know, even the first kind of verse is kind of saying, you know, I can almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming, but the voice inside my head saying, you'll never reach it. And the song goes on to kind of say, you know what? Actually, you start to learn that I'm always going to want these things. And I've always been one of them women that I achieve stuff. I'm like, tick, give me the next big thing. Achieve it. Tick, give me the next big thing. And I've never felt settled and content with or congratulated myself. That's why we're having a party on Sunday, by the way, so that I'm taking time to congratulate myself, because what the song says is, you know, it's you know, it's all about the climb. It's not about what's waiting on the other side anymore. And it's that moment that says to me, you know, that's it. You know, it isn't just about what's on the other side of this mountain. actually enjoy this climb and be in it and take part in what's actually happening. And yeah, so that's why
Well,
it gets
that is on my playlist now, and it has a totally different meaning since reading that book. I love it. I've got one for you though, because a song resonates with me when
yeah.
I feel like I need that extra fizz. I need to kind of get myself all going again and get my confidence. And it's Defying Gravity from Wicked.
That's also one. So the Womanifest playlist, right? So Michelle was at a big event we held in Manchester before pandemic called Womanifest. That was on the Womanifest playlist, which was our Empower Hour playlist, and absolutely Defying Gravity's up there for me.
And it's kind of saying, no one can tell me that, we can't fly. I'm sick of people saying there's limits, and there isn't limits, just because watch me go. That so yeah.
And I guess given, you get to go to the theatre so often, surely you've heard a good belter of that, haven't you?
Oh, I have. And I get chills because for me, like I say, it has a totally different meaning, because I'm like, no one can stop me. I'm going to do it, and that, yeah. So on our playlist, that those two songs, we'll build them up as we go. If anybody's watching this and wants to share a song, please do. We've actually got some comments coming in. Got a really nice one. I think you resonated with Heather Glover. She says, Heather Barron. I'm imagining that's little Heather needs to keep making a reappearance. So it definitely strikes a chord there. Now I'm going to move on a little bit, because you do a hell of a lot of things. It's not just do the book, you do Ladies Life Lounge, and you were talking about Womanifest, which I went to just before the pandemic started. It's a massive festival of just some amazing, incredible women getting together and just showing what they do. And there was a catwalk. It felt great. It really, really did. But Ladies Life Lounge, you started up with Bezzy mate, Roxy.
Yeah. Roxy is my biz partner, my partner in crime. Yes, it is. It's amazing.
And I've got to say, you do amazing stuff together to kind of like really get women just feeling empowered, but you also get naked together. Look at this cheeky photo.
Yeah.
That takes a lot to do that. I got naked for a Calendar Girls photo shoot that was raising money for charity. But again, this has a really good message. And what you try and do, I think, with Ladies Life Lounge and yourself is you're turning pretty on its head. And you can see there, that's your 7 secrets, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're on a bit of a mission to create a bit of a guilt-free army of women. So it's a membership club, Ladies Life Lounge. So you join it for like a low monthly subscription, a bit like a gym membership. But we cover everything a woman needs in her life, and they're under these 7 secrets. And they all start with the word pretty, because we want to help women be known and recognised and value themselves for more than what they look like. Yes, what we look like is important to us. It is to me. But that's not on its own. It's equally balanced with the value and the contribution I make. So painted on our body here. This was inspired by a bit of a Little Mix photo shoot that they'd done. There are you remember? Yeah, Little Mix painted all over them. So it was inspired by that. So the 7 secrets are almost like the pillars that we do lots of little training courses and masterclasses in, that give women all of the learning they could possibly need to make their life happy, fulfilled, successful, all under one roof, less than a gym membership, not even got to leave your sofa.
Oh, fabulous. I love it. There's so many ideas that are coming out of this, Jodie. It really, really is. I'm going to ask you, though, finally, what advice would you give to women? What would you say to the women out there watching, and the men who need a bit more confidence? I know you talked about little skills that they've got, but what's one takeaway that you could give people now?
Is to small change makes big difference. just do what's the one small thing you could do that could make an improvement for yourself for today or tomorrow. It's overwhelming sometimes, you know, it can just seem like a mountain in front of you when there are so many things that you think you want to address or sort out or change in your life. And actually break them down, start small, and remember that actually there's always something you can learn to address those things, always.
Oh, brilliant. Do you know what? Thank you so much for those words of wisdom. And thank you for doing this book, because I really, really would recommend it. And it's one of those I think I'm going to reread. And I know I don't like doing this with books, okay, because I feel like it's a sacrilege. But I think I'm going to like turn the pages over and highlight some stuff. I know, I said it.
I'll bring you something special for that on Sunday if you like. So Michelle's to celebrate on Sunday, aren't you? So it'll be lovely.
Absolutely. You've got your official book launch on Sunday. It's already a #1 Amazon bestseller. If you want the book, it is there below. That's where you can find the book. Thank you so much, Jodie, and I'll see you Sunday.
All right, see you Sunday.